What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Remy coming back with the ESBC video, but with a bit of a twist. As you can see by the title, I have something that I want to talk to y'all guys about. And before I even get into what I want to say this. What I'm going to say has nothing to do with Steel City Interactive at all. It's not something that they can necessarily control. It's really about the past games that we have had. So with that being said, let's get into the conversation. So the fear that I have for ESBC is I feel like it won't be perceived well. You may ask, what do you mean that it won't be perceived well? Why wouldn't ESBC be perceived well? Because if ESBC is going to be what we think ESBC is going to be, this will officially be the first ever simulation combat sports game that we have ever had. Look at the games that people are coming from. People are coming from Fight Night Champion and people are coming from UFC 4. Those games are not simulation. Those games don't replicate what goes on in an actual ring and the actual octagon. So the sports combat titles have always been ran by arcade games. We never had a sim game that actually replicates what goes on inside of a boxing ring, and I feel like that can turn people off in a way, for the main reason of a lot of people have this ideology that you cannot have fun playing a simulation game, and the only way that you can have fun is by playing a arcade type of game. I don't know who put that idea inside of y'all heads, but that is the wrong idea to have for a simulation game. A simulation game is exactly what it sounds like, a simulation. It is to replicate what goes on inside of the real world. So you're telling me having footwork like Lomachenko or being able to rip the body like Canelo does, that isn't fun to y'all? It's not fun to pretty much replicate or emulate what you see a real fighter do in a boxing game? That is not fun to y'all? Instead, y'all find fun in spamming power straights all day, or using some mechanic that is completely broken to the point where you can't do anything about it. That's fun to y'all? What it sounds like to me is y'all want a game that doesn't require skill to play. You're playing a simulation based game. It's going to require some skill to play. It's going to require a learning curve. It's going to require all of that because you're basically replicating what goes on inside of a real boxing ring. Now, I feel like ESBC will be a very fire game. I would love to play ESBC. I think ESBC will be the best boxing game that we're ever going to play. But like I said, it is the community, the list of arcade games that we have had in the past. I feel like that can potentially mess up the quality of ESBC. There are people today that feels like Fight Night Champion is the best boxing game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at it, when people talk about gameplay relating to ESBC, they feel like the mechanics is stiff, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like ESBC is the perfect game. Of course the gameplay needs work for ESBC, but I feel like people are also comparing it to Fight Night Champion when you talk about the gameplay aspect as well. Like example, when I was talking about the power jab, there were people on Twitter who were saying that the jab looks too stiff or the gameplay needs work. I feel like with people having this expectation of Fight Night Champion and UFC 4, I feel like it will ruin the quality or the potential that ESBC can reach simply because they have such a high expectation because of Fight Night Champion. There's nothing wrong with Fight Night Champion, but that is not how boxing is supposed to be displayed. But that is the importance of ESBC. ESBC is going to shed a light on boxing games, and not only boxing games but simulation, because if ESBC does well, I feel like it will give a different perspective on simulation. Like I said, people feel like you can't have fun in sim. Well, if people having fun on ESBC, you're ultimately having fun on a sim game. So it's just a lot of importance that ESBC will have, and I know ESBC will reach that importance. I just don't know how people will grow fond of it. That's basically the whole point I'm trying to make. I know ESBC would be a good game. I know ESBC will be a revolutionary game. I just don't know how people will grow fond of the simulation aspect of it, because like how I've had convos before, I don't think you can spam in ESBC. Games like Fight Night Champion and UFC 4, it is infamous for being spamaholic games. So that would be a change of speed for a lot of people, going from a game where you ultimately have access to anything, you can spam all day with no punishment, versus a game that's going to restrict you from doing that, to make you more disciplined. Basically, ESBC is going to make you more disciplined. Will people be fond of that discipline? Who knows? Time will tell. But that's pretty much going to conclude the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. How do you feel about the video topic? How do you feel about my opinion on my personal fear that I have for ESBC? Do you think I'm bugging out, or do you think it's a reasonable fear that some of you may even have yourselves? But if you are new to the channel and you enjoy any of my content, make sure you hit that like button. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss out on any more future uploads like this one. And it's your boy Remy. I love you guys, and now we'll see you on the next one. Peace.